Welcome back, curling fans. You've made it. We've made it. 8 of the top teams have made it to the finals of the Superhero U5 Bonspiel. The winner of our featured sheet here on Sheet C is going to win a berth in the USA Curling Under 5 Nationals to be played early next year. So congratulations to all the teams for making it. Daryl Horseman here on the mic, courtesy of Coyote Curling here in downtown Tempe, Arizona. We are going to be treated to a wonderful game. This is the complete sheet show out of the Oval Curling Club. They're coming into this final a 6-0 undefeated record. Skipping the rink is David Hurst. Vice is Ramin Gilbert. Second is Jerry St. James. And lead is our Gerard can never miss Trimberger. So looking for, they're hoping, I guess, a 7-0 go undefeated in this little thing. Up against them is the Orange Coyote, which is Jeff Kunkel. And for those who watched last year, Jeff Kunkel and team won the bronze at the U5 Nationals. Vice is Woody Woo. Second is Hal Brown from Orange County Curling Club, also a member here as well. And lead, Matt O'Brien. This rink also comes into the finals at a 5-0 record. But obviously the way the pools and the draws worked out, come in one game less than our team from the Oval. So will that be the deciding factor? You know, will the Utah team be just that much more sharp when in this game? Who knows? Adrenaline's going to be rocking. The ice is going to be keen. They did a full scrape, nice pebble, and we are away. Maybe the Utah guys have a plane to catch. I apologize for being a little bit late. We were supposed to start this at 1 o'clock, but as Bonspiels happen, you're 10, 15 minutes late on draw 2, and by the time you get to draw 15, you're a half hour late. So thanks for sticking around. All right, throwing the first rock in the house. And again, I suspect the first couple ends, they will keep this fairly clean. No point getting in trouble early. Yeah. Nice shot. Unfortunately, rolls out, takes the pressure off of Coyote Orange. Yeah, the Coyote Orange in the semis earlier today at the 9:45 or the 10:30 draw, they played one heck of a nail biter. There was a little bit of there was some good. That's right. That's usually the geese fly over usually around 3 o'clock. They're a little bit early today, so. All right, here we go. That's the love of live TV. You never know what's going to happen, right? Here we go. So out turn, hit and roll again. Both teams probably happy to blanket at this point since nobody's throwing a guard. And we've seen this is sort of the MO with the Utah rink is to. I think they've probably thrown maybe 3 guards since the time I've been watching them, so they're a little guard adverse. Just enough to sneak that out the back door. Again, Jeff's looking for a miss here. He's asking for a center line guard. We are playing the 5 rock rule, meaning if you put one on the center line and it's not in the house, you can't take it out until the 6th rock has been thrown. That's obviously hasn't been the case here. If they do enter the house and they are, rocks 1 through 5, they will are eligible to be taken out. And I stand corrected. It's not Coyote Orange; it's Orange Coyote. So I apologize for any of the family members watching from California. Mind you, I suspect a lot of the California curlers will be watching. OC Curling Club is doing actually a fundraising Bonspiel at Curl Vegas this weekend. I think it's the Death by Numbers spiel. So wishing all of those curlers good luck in that draw. And of course, hopefully Orange County makes a few bucks to put in their capital fund so they can get dedicated curling. From hearing, talking to those guys in Orange County, they are months away from inking that deal. So having another dedicated sheet next to the ocean is going to be great. Again, wash, rinse, repeat here on sheet C. Outturn, hit, and stick. Don't really want to roll out. Want to kind of keep the pressure on the Utah rink. Hal from Orange County sweeping it, trying to keep it on line. Looks like he's done a good enough job. Matt's curling for the curl. Nice shot, nicely managed rock. And what we've been noticing, if this is the first time you're tuning in, we have noticed that there's not a whole lot of curl. There's not a 4-foot curl if you're close to that center line going out to the wings, but there is a lot of curl from the 12 and 8 foot into the center. So we'll want to watch that throughout the game and see how the ice changes. Again, nice shot. This is a really good way if you're new to Bonspieling or new to the somewhat competitive nature of a Bonspiel. But just throw nice, control weight, 10.5 second hit between hog lines, just to kind of get your knees and hips and your delivery hand all warmed up before things get a little crazy in the fourth, fifth, and the later ends. Nice shot from Woody. Yeah. Well, we can expect a few more hits and rolls, hits and sticks here. So we'll just go around the rings here and give you an update. We have Kuhn and friends from Denver playing in the D final against kind of a mix of Coyote and Wine Country curlers, the Sierra Sweepers and Lake Tahoe. Thanks for being here on Sheet B in the B finals. We've got Team D from the Potomac, DC area playing against a really new rink out of the Coyotes, Team Boyd. Over on Sheet D, we've got the Ancient and Honorable Order of Curling titles, and that never gets any harder to say. There are great team out of Huntsville, Alabama, Rocket City Curling Club, in the C final against the Delusion of Grandeur. Again, another newer Coyote rink. So congratulations again to all those teams for making the curling on Sunday. Yeah. Also, the another benefit of playing just nothing but hits, you actually bank a lot of time. Every end takes you about 3.5, 4 minutes. So if you can get it done in half that by just throwing hits, you should have lots of time to discuss anything that becomes crazy in the later end. So a lot of benefits to this. decision time. Because that did not make the rings, Ramin's thinking, well, is he going to try to go for a steal here and put one in the top four of the button? But in this particular case, he's thinking, no, let's just keep it clean. No point changing the end plan now. Again, for those who are watching that are maybe new to curling, if you have the hammer or the last rock advantage, you typically want to score 2 points or none. In some cases, you would take one if you absolutely need it. But and if you do not have the hammer, you would want to steal a point or do everything you can in your power to make sure the team who has the hammer, who's trying to get 2 points, allow them to only get one. So you're trying to make it as complicated as possible for them. So that's sort of the gist. So again, if you're Red Rock early on, you were trying to get 2 points, but now you're just at this point. Let's just get this. Let's get the blank. And if it's a no-hitter or nobody scores in an end, whoever had the hammer retains that hammer into the next end. They've actually made that change at the Grand Slam of Curling to prevent blanking in ends, because blanking's not really good for TV, and it really kind of takes us back to the 80s, early 80s, where Pat Ryan and Al Hackner and the boys were just hitting, and it was pretty boring to watch, and whoever had the hammer on the last end would win 1-0. It's like maybe watching a soccer game. But the Grand Slam of Curling now, this season has instituted you can only blank, I think, 2 ends in a whole game out of 8. And if you blank another one, you have to give up the hammer. So it sort of forces you to always be on the aggressive and try to get a point. So I think a really good change for curling to make it a little bit more exciting for people to watch on TV. Not sure if that's going to trickle down into league play at some point, but I'm sure Curl Canada, USA Curling, and World Curling Federation are looking at it, kind of watching the stats and getting the feedback from the players and the viewers. Mostly the players. All right, big shot from Hurst. Out-turn, hit and roll out. He's going to want to roll out. And if you're Yellowstone, you're going to hope this jams and Red has to take a point. It's close to the jam. He's going to hit right on the beak. And unfortunately, that's kind of an unforced error. That's going to force the Utah ring to take a point. So if you are yellow, you're saying, well, good job, boys. We have the hammer, and they had to take 1 point. And just mathematically, why that's important is if you have the hammer now and you're Yellowstone, you get your deuce, you'll be up 2-1, and you typically also want to score a curling point if you have the even ends. So in 2 and 4, 6, 8, of course. So kind of keeps you on track to be in a good spot come the 6th end. So that's a little bit of the theory there. Probably see this one in the house, I would imagine. That's certainly. And since we have Hurst and Utah, a lot of Utah folks on here, we if you like podcasts, go listen to Rock Logic. A lot of great stats out there as far as why you want to throw a corner guard, why you want to throw in the house on certain ends, and really you can moneyball. If anybody's ever seen that movie with Brad Pitt and the Oakland A's, you can moneyball curling and really just devise a strategy that is nothing but stats driven, and you will probably win more times than you lose. So. This is a bit of a freebie for Orange Coyote. I don't really want this in the house, or else we'll probably see another hit show. Yep, there we go. There's the out-turn hit. So again, Ramin's really looking for a miss here. If he can hit and roll, let's say to his left, and leave it in the 8-foot circle, And let's say Team Yellow flashes or misses. That's going to give them the opportunity to split the house, so have a rock on either side of the house, which typically will guarantee you 2 points. That's the theory. Looks like this one might be over curling just a bit. No, good shot. Good shot. Doesn't roll maybe as much as they want, but they're okay with that. Jeff Kunkel's going to have to deal with it. He's also make a decision. Does he want to, he's got the hammer, so remember he's going to be wanting to go for 2. And if he hits this, he's again kind of taking a page out of Utah's book, saying, you know what, let's. This one's a little spicy. Woody Woo's on the brush to curl it on over. Good shot. Yeah, curling's all about being patient. You don't have to be super aggressive or pounce early. You just play conservative until the opportunity presents itself to maybe go for your 2 or your 3. So, and we'll be seeing a hidden stick or a small roll to Ramin's right would be fine. Hurst trying to curl that over. Good shot. Nice roll. And you typically want to, if you're going to do a hit and you want to roll to a different area, just because it's like putting the same shot. If you've done it once, you kind of know how it's going to track. So if you roll to a different part of the sheet, you might get a little different result, which might constitute a miss. So that's why you want to hit and roll. Interesting choice by the skipper here to throw a corner guard now. This one's going to slide into the house, obviously leaving the Utah rink the ability to hit it. And if they hit and stick, at that point, the force is on, meaning the Utah rink is going to be forcing Yellow to take a point. Unless Orange Coyote can kind of get themselves out of trouble. So we'll have to see here how this progresses. Good shot. Now again, Jeff is going to want to try to hit and roll to his right if he wants to make a play on that red that's at the back tee line area to his right. Calling the out turn, which is going to gear effect, which might bounce a little bit too far for him, but we'll see. Oh, I need to get on the curl for this. It looks like it's a little bit out. That's Matt O'Brien's shot. Looks like it's floating out just a little bit. Yeah, that's a freebie. We're going to see, Ramin. Yeah, nice shot. Maybe just a little bit behind the tee, but that would give Jeff the opportunity to maybe hit and roll. Hit the one that's on the wings there, on the 12-foot and roll it closer to the center. Looks like he just wants to sort of hit and stick. Control weight, that's when they tap the inside of their elbow, that's control weight shot, which is about 10.5 seconds, hog to hog. release. Tracking quite nice. Good shot. It's going to force Utah Rink to deal with it. All right, we have a couple scores we can update you on here on Sheet A. Sierra Sweepers, the hybrid Heinz 67 group out of Coyotes, Wine Country, and Lake Tahoe, are up 1-0 over Kuhn and Friends out of Denver. And Rocket City, the Honorable Turtles, have taken 4 out of the gate against the Delusions of Grandeur out of Coyote. So, big start there. We don't have a score yet for Sheet B, the B finals. We'll get those as we... Oh, one second. I can probably figure that out. Trying to sweep it for line, trying to keep it on there. Yeah, nice shot. Again, if you're Utah, you don't want to roll out because then that's going to allow Orange Coyote to hit that red rock out there in the wings. So it's important to keep the force alive here. Meaning Yellow Rock's going to have to take one if there's 2 red rocks in the house that they can't get out of, that they can't clear out of. Good shot by Mr. Hurst. You don't need to overcook it just a bit. There you go. Very good. I've said this a few times, but I'll say it again, especially watching the Utah rink. It's not easy to blank an end. All of the shots have to be made, or equally, a few shots from both teams have to be missed, of course. But typically what we've been seeing here is, typically 7 good shots an end to get us to this point. So kudos to both these teams for being able to hit and stick appropriately and make these shots. Not all the teams that are here this weekend play on dedicated ice, so it's kind of a testament to how good most of these teams are playing, given the conditions that they have at home. Yeah. Again, another good shot. This should be fine. Should hit right in the nose. Yeah, the only problem with throwing so many hits is that if anybody has to draw a draw, good luck if you remember what that was. We did that 8 minutes ago. Well, looking for an in-turn. Again, we don't want to roll out. This is last of the skip stones, so hit and stick will force Orange Coyote to take 1 point, and if they're light or if anything happens, it's a good steal opportunity for Utah, and they use that to their advantage their last game. Yeah, this is over curling a little bit. That's why they're curling it for line. Yeah, there we go. Nicely managed rock right on the beak. There we go. So this is a big shot. It's been very sort of academic up to this point, but this is a important shot for Jeff. He can't hit and roll out, obviously, because the Utah will steal one, which would give them a pretty hefty advantage emotionally. So no reason to think Jeff won't make this, but that's why it's important to have a split house like you see this here. Yeah, there you go. Good job, good end. I suspect we'll see this a few more times. Yeah, it's 1-1 after 2. We do have an update now on sheet B, the last rink that didn't have a score in. Team D from Potomac, DC. They took 2 in that end, so they're up 2-0 against Team Boy out of Coyote. So, other than sheet D, a very conservative start for the D final, B final, and A final. And again, here typically, if you're new to curling, you'd throw either a centerline guard if you want to really steal, or if you go in the house, you're asking for another blank end. This doesn't look overly heavy, so it looks like they're just trying to leave it centerline. Maybe go for the steal here. And again, because of the 5 rock rule, we can't hit that out until the 6 stone, so that's. I think it's stuck around, yeah, like Ramin's looking at it. So Ramin's now asking to throw a T-line shot, trying to split the house. That's his strategy he loves to play. Sure if Trimberger's shot a little spicy. It's the first error we've seen so far, so we'll see Kunkel come around that yellow. Yeah. And stats would tell you a couple things here. You can either go double center, but I think with that yellow being kind of right in the number 2 position as far as zone 2, if you are familiar with the Fab 4, the Furby team scoring system. It's probably easier to come around and get that top 12, top 8. I need to go for a line now. It's coming down pretty hard. There we go. Sneak it by. Yeah. Nicely managed rock. It won't pop out this. That's a good throw. That's a well thrown rock. It's going to force Utah to do an in-turn or a clockwise spin, try to get around that centerline guard. And remember, if the red rock hits that guard that's on the centerline, the yellow rock will be replaced back to where it's a resting position, and the red rock will be taken out of play. So, on these shots, you want to err on the side of being just an inch or 2 wide if you're going to be anything. Looks like it's got plenty of space to it. And they're trying to bend it around that rock. Sweeping for the curl. Great sweeping. Nice shot. Well done. Not that everything's a given, but you would expect a team, 2 undefeated teams to be playing at a high level that they are. Kunkel saying, okay, I see what you did. Let's ask Matt O'Brien to come around and that one seemed to roll a little bit off of Matt's fingertips there. Not sure if he just set that out just a little bit wide. It's enough to get it out of the house, which is good. I suspect, we'll see Ramin go after it. It's still too early. He can't hit that centerline guard yet, but if he manages to hit and stick here, I suspect that centerline guard will be coming out if Utah's got anything to say about it. Yeah, Jerry likes to throw him a little spicy. He seems to be a tenth or two or 3/10 a little bit faster than everybody else. So this is going to give Kunkel the opportunity to loop around and use that center line guard. Starting to curl in nice. Well, there's a saying in curling that your missed shot isn't a miss if the other team doesn't make their shot. So, fortunately for St. James, Matt's shot squirts out the back of the house, and so this may be a little. St. James gonna have to bring down his weight here a little bit because that seems like a lot of ice, unless you throw kind of a board weight, control weight shot at it. If he throws it normal, or looks pretty good. Yeah, Hurst getting on for the, sorry, Trimberger getting on her for the curl. Yeah, still might be just a little bit too much. Yeah. I think when you're throwing, when you're icing Jerry St. James, you have to put what you think is right and then divide by 2, I think. Kunkel emphatically saying with the tapping of the broom, we need one top 8, top 4. Let's see if Woody can respond. An option for St. James's shot, you've got that centerline guard. You could angle raise that back into that yellow that's on the back 12 and maybe use St. James's upweight ability to maybe get the double. Maybe something to think about in the later ends. Looks like this rock's going to be fine. Maybe a little bit behind the tee line. Yeah. So if you're Utah, you probably want to freeze right on that rock right now. Or rip the guard and try to get the double. That's option 1 and option 2. Well, they are coming this way, and it's probably because Ramin feels confident. He's seen this this handle and this line a few times, so looking for in turn, tap and roll. Even if they tap and roll over to kind of where St. James is standing and get away from that center, get that the play away from center, that'd be a good solution. Probably a little line. Yeah, you want to skinny that yellow as much as you can. They're going to sweep for line. Try to get it around there. It looks like it's that's maybe a second or 2 late on the line call, but really good shot. Now Jeff is asking to put this top 4, keep the pressure on Utah, but with Ramin hitting that guard a little bit more to the right. If this isn't perfect, you could be leaving a double and a roll for Utah. So next couple of shots here be interesting to see how this end plays out. yeah, that's right. 2 flashes. Yeah, but you only want to see a flash, or you're only happy to see a flash if the guy either before you or after you does it too. So this one's going to be a little lighter, but it should be top 12 somewhere. Yeah, Woody feels pretty good about that. At this point, you want to rip those guards. Get rid of those guards. Or use one more shot and try to freeze on the lid. is if you have the hammer, for those who aren't familiar with curling, you want to sort of keep that 4-foot circle, that keep that line open so you can draw in. Right now, yellow's doing a great job by controlling that front. So this front is causing Ramin a little bit of trouble. So now he's saying, you know what, let's just let's take the line the other team took and see if we can follow them right in. All right, just looking for an out turn. So we get a time on this ice here. Yeah, they're going to want to go probably both sweepers on this now, yep. So that's 14-11 hog to hog. Oh, thanks, Trevor. Yeah, hopefully they can learn a little bit. It's always tough doing commentary for these things because you don't know if everybody knows curling or everybody doesn't know curling. So you got to try to find that right blend, right? So yeah, and if you guys have any questions, in the chat, certainly throw them up, and I'll do my best to answer them or explain what's going on. That's a little light. That is going to give Utah a usable rock to throw the out turn and maybe play the tap on their last shot. Looks like Kunkel's going to just try to either come around or block that and force maybe the in-turn draw to come around. I'm actually sort of surprised that Kunkel's not hitting that open red to be sitting 4 and putting a lot of pressure on Utah. This is quite gentlemanly of them. Now they do have, yellow's got the hammer. Sorry, red's got the hammer. Are we missing a rock? 2, 4, 5. Yeah, so that must have been the play. They're taking away that bump. If you're Russ Howard, you're probably arguing that if you hit that yellow with a bit of gear effect, you could go yellow, red, and you see that yellow in the top 12 that's just right of the center line, you could get a bit of a kiss and redirect that into the pot. It's a lot of math. And they're going for it. Well, you 35 on the YouTube are going to be in store for a bit of a treat here. Let's see if this thing's going to work. Because it's there. Nice delivery. Got good pace. Got to go for line. You got to keep that out there. Got to keep it out there. Come on, Trimberger. Come on. Boop, boop, boop. I don't want to say I called it, but gosh darn it. That was pretty darn cool. Yeah, he just physics the hell out of that. So, kind of a fun shot. You're still in a little bit of trouble if you're Utah. Kunkel sitting 1, last rock. They're going to try to go around through that port. The only issue I have with this is that if you're a little up or a little bit excited, if you hit that red, that's right in front of kind of Woody's right foot, you raise it in, not excellent. If you, let's say you dump it and you hit your guard and you expose that rock at the back, then you're going to give up 3. So if it was me, I would be doing the in-turn clockwise draw, maybe tap on that yellow that's at the top 12. kind of to the right of Ramin's foot there. So that's what I would be doing just to be safe. But what the heck do I know? Let's see here. This one's up, says Hal. Yeah. Here we go. You can't touch that guard. Whoa. Well, yeah, that's kind of a net zero. It doesn't really change the complexion of things, fortunately. But now there is he just showed you the line, Ramin. You should go it and take your 3. Yeah. Perfect opportunity. And even if you're a little hot on this and you catch the shot rock on the high side, so meaning the right side of center, if you will, and roll out, you're still going to get your deuce because you've got those 2 red counters in the 8-foot. So you got a huge margin. You just can't overthrow this. Just throw a nice hack waiter. Big shot coming here from the skipper. That trailing foot kind of skating out on a little bit. We'll see if that's going to change the directory. Yeah, they're calling it for curl. Got to go hard for curl. Got to go hard for curl. Don't even look up. You keep going, St. James. Hurry! Hurry! Well, that's your deuce. I think that trailing leg kind of changed the trajectory there for Ramin, but that's still a pretty good end. Pretty good end considering. But it is amazing, though. I've said it 1,000 times this week, and I'll say it 1,000 more today, I'm sure. It's amazing how much a guard changes the play. Like, one guard caused all of that chaos. Whereas you see, in the first couple ends where they're playing it clean, it's an easy game. But yeah, sure fun to watch. See if I can go around and get you some scores here, so you guys don't have to go on a Bonspieler. But looks like in our D final, Kuhn and friends from Denver against the Heinz 57 Sierra Sweepers are 1-1 after 2. They're in the third end. Team D. They don't know how to score anything but 2s. Looks like they stole another couple in the second end, so it's 4-0 against Team Boy. They're also in the third. And in the ancient and honorable Order of Curling Turtles from Huntsville, Alabama, they gave up a deuce in the second, so it's 4-2 against for them against the Delusions of Grandeur. They are also in the third. So again, Sheet C, our feature sheet, because of those hits they threw in the first 2 ends, they're the only rink right now in the fourth end. So for you younger curlers, that's why you want to, that's how you bank time. Let's see here. Mr. Scott says what? Would it have been good to go after the 2 reds in the house and Kunkel's last rock as opposed to the draw? Yes. I don't know if you could really see them. I'd have to go back and replay that, but yeah, certainly if you take a red out, the likelihood of them scoring 2 is gone. So yeah, that would have been a good play. I think maybe the thought I have to guess is Kunkel was sort of thinking, let's keep the pressure on them. Let's see if we can, because that was a fine shot by Ramin. So if he didn't get that, they're stealing. So yeah, but no, I think Scott, yeah, you're thinking right. Yeah, Ramin skips and throws vice. David throws skip rocks, an absolute gem. Jerry throws second vice. Jerry throws leads. Really amazing what the effect always been for you. Yeah, Anto, totally agree. Yeah, totally agree. I didn't want to get into the whole dynamics of, throw and skip and third rocks and stuff, but yeah, totally agree. They're playing at a high level. I was talking to Hurst after his last game, and Hurst and I have known each other for a lot of years, and I always appreciate him as a curler. And yeah, he mentioned, to your point, Anto, that they're getting to a point now where they're getting familiar with everybody's draws, getting everybody to sort of their releases, their slide tendencies. So yeah, there's nothing but good things on the horizon for this team for sure. Yeah, and I think that's obviously Netawin and Furby were the first ones to sort of do that. Have the skip throw the last brick, or the third throw the last brick, and that's and now you see that obviously with in the Euros. Team Tirzoni does that as well. Not a whole lot of rinks do that, because usually the person throwing the last brick really wants to be looking at all the shots, but it's kind of a testament to how good these curlers are, because it's not an easy thing to do it. If it was easy, a lot more teams would be doing it. So yeah, good insight, Anto. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, but I think also, Anto, of the I've always been impressed with all of the curlers that come out of Utah. I've been curling there for 20 years, and I still have the longest curling shot ever, where I threw it like 950 yards, 950 meters on that outside track at your club. There might have been a few alcoholic beverages at one of the playdowns I was there for, and anyway, we had a good time. But yeah, Utah's got a strong curling program there. Yeah. So it's not often you see 3 red rocks in the house and no yellows. So of course this is a little bit of a kind of a pucker moment for Kunkel. He's going to have to do a little bit of cleanup, kind of hit and stick, do some work here. Hal's on it for the line. Looks like it's going to hit and roll out. Another unforced error. Yeah, Kunk and company too. Yeah, well, you don't have to deal with them every day like we do, Anto. So it's just kidding. Yeah, the whole rink is good. Woody Woo and Jeff and everybody. All of these curlers, even Hal coming from Orange County. Everybody who's been on the ice this weekend's really put a lot of work in, and a lot of those curlers that we've had, even Scott on the chat here has been curling 14 months. The experience you get from reps and playing in this type of an event is immeasurable. League is one thing, but playing at this level, no matter if you're playing on Sunday, or if you went 0-3 and you kind of went 0 for, just the fact that you're out here doing it, you're going to learn a lot and get your MBA in curling that way. So probably time to start bailing. Asking Matt to probably hit and double something out. You're not really in a position to freeze up against anything right now, because you've got those 2 reds at the back. You've got that red, obviously, top. You could freeze to that rock, to that second shot that's in the 8-foot, and try to build a little bit of offense, but he's looking for a bit of hit and roll here, but certainly the pressure is being applied by the Utah rink. Well, that shot was less than ideal. Now, we've all been in this spot where you're like, where do I put a rock that doesn't really hurt us and doesn't help the other team, And so I think, yeah, if they just throw a guard, and worst thing, if they freeze to that shot too, that rock that's an 8-foot, that's not all bad. Just nice little guard here, maybe leave it somewhere halfway between the hog and the house. And just sort of make, who's going to be throwing now? Hal? Woody? Yeah, kind of make, Team Kunkel pucker a little bit. I think, because right now this is, it could just be the weight of the weekend, and they're starting to slow down here a little bit. It's not like these guys to have this many unforced errors. Well, nice to see we've got Matt Merkel joining us from the UK. Thanks for watching this. 6 hours, 8 hours different? Very good. Thanks for making the time, Matt. It was less than ideal. So good shot. So now it's bailout time. You're gonna see Woody just throwing a bunch of 10-5s or 10-second up weight hits. Try to bail out, clean out some of the red. He may have wanted to drive back that centerline guard to sort of start off the dig out, but yeah, Ryan controlling in front. Yeah, the Utah's got that on lock. Yeah, that's what I was sort of worried about. It's a good shot by Woody, but it doesn't really advance them a whole lot. If you're Ramin, just corner freeze on that yellow, put something between the yellow and that shot rock, kind of right in front of Kunkel's right arm there. I can't say I'm in love with this out-turn guard that they're doing. I'd be coming at it from the in-turn if that's what they're doing, is throwing a guard. We do know it doesn't curl a whole lot from the center line out, but or another thing he could be doing is hitting that yellow out and rolling in, which would be, yeah, so he's just going for the guard. Yeah. Yeah, sort of that's the worry there. It overcurls a little bit. It probably gives Kunkel a bit of a port. Can he get in there with maybe a back line, hack waiter, go through the port, hit the shot one, and kind of roll over? Yeah, I think he'd still be, if you threw an in-turn, you could probably get a triple running that center line red to the top 8 to the back 8. The triple's there, but I'd be getting rid of that those center line reds right now. Not worry about that rock that's in the 4-foot. Well, yeah, thank you, Ben. Appreciate that. We've still got a little bit way to go to figure the stuff out as far as starting and stopping the stream, of course. Last night when the games went till midnight, hitting the off button wasn't awesome, but. For those on the stream, if you have never met Ben, you're going to want to sign up for his Stones and Stripes. It's an absolute peach of a what you would call that, newsletter. Ben has got his finger directly on the pulse of curling. Certainly at the grassroots level. So. Yeah, right back at you as far as being awesome, Ben. So things are getting a little messy. We're just going to see another centerline guard. And Again, if you're new to curling, if you're yellow, you have the hammer. You're trying to get 2 points, but you've missed a few rocks right now. So now you're trying to limit the damage. You do have that yellow rock that you could raise up to promote, which you might use. You're down to your last 2 bricks here. I think I'll leave a port. You got to get that to the center line. Yeah, most people think, a guard has to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to give the next shooter a little bit of pause and go, that sure looks tight, or boy, oh boy, I don't want to hit that. So a lot of people think it needs to be perfectly guarded. So now, while the triple's still there, or they're looking at that tap. Yeah. I suppose the issue, if you're Kunkel and you make the yellow raise, you've got Utah's got the red run to get your yellow out. So, but right now you're sitting facing 2. Yeah, I think this is probably a smart call here. If you didn't get the triple running the red down the centers, one sticks around and jams, you're probably still giving up 1 or 2. So I think this is, while not ideal, I think probably the lesser of a few evils, I would think. Here we go. Big shot. You're going to want to curl that in. Hal from Orange. There you go. It's coming over now. Hard, boys. You cannot hurt this one. You can't hurt it. You can't hurt it. Whew. Yeah. Good shot. You're only potentially giving up 1 here. They still have that yellow raise. So again, I would throw not the the out turn. I would be throwing. Yeah, and again, don't listen to the guy in the booth, but I would be throwing the in turn. Kind of like the same shot that Kunkel just threw, and just try to guard up, because you do have the 2 yellow promotions right there that you want to try to negate. Yeah. But if you make it, then good on you. They can just lock on there just a bit. If I was Hurst, I'd go buy a lottery ticket right after this, because that is an absolute peach of a shot. It really sort of takes the angle run on that yellow, takes it away, makes that yellow tap that he just threw, makes that a little tougher. Like, for not throwing, an oval rock, and no pun intended, that's the best way of guarding both those yellows. So great on ya. Good shot. Yeah, if you're Kunkel coming back to the house, how are you managing the swearing is what I'm going to ask him after this game. I don't think they heard me either, Trevor. I'm going to have to, send up flares or something, or I don't know, do a little, SOS with a flashlight or something. I don't know. I have to figure something out, but here we go. That's a good result, though, anyway. And now you're just trying to grab a little bit of the button for 1. Yeah. Well, you might even be able to get Maybe we'll be able to get shot here if they manage this really, really well. Looks like he's a little wide. Maybe a little light the way they're going after it. Matt's trying to drag as much as he can. Woody's going to want him to get it on curl right now. Here it's coming in. Here it's coming in. Look at that. How good is that? What a good opportunity. Good opportunity. Well, you know, if you're Orange Coyote, you kind of dodged one there. Yeah, they are going to go up 4-1 after 4. So it's going to be imperative. You know, there's a term of, you know, going a hard deuce, a hard single. If you're yellow, you're going to be desperate for a 2 to make sure you stick in this game. Yeah, we sort of know how the first 3 shots are going to go up here, so let's go around the rings and see what I can tell you. Looks like on sheet A, which is our D finals against Kuhn and Friends from Denver, against our Heinz 57s, Coyote, Wine Country, and Lake Tahoe. It's 2-1 after 3 ends. They're in the 4th right now. Remember, if you're in sort of the California area, or I guess Mopac, sort of the western side, the Grand Slam's going to Tahoe, Reno in November. So if you want to see Olympic curling, you know, up close and go sing karaoke with Mowat or Holman, go see the Grand Slam in Tahoe. Over on sheet B, our B finals, Team D from Potomac. They stole another one, 5-zip after 3 against Team Boyd. And over on sheet D, the Ancient and Honorable Order of Curling Turtles from Rocket City, the Huntsville, Alabama rink. They seems like they only know how to score 4 or 0 because they took another 4 and it's now 8-2. And they're up against the Delusions of Grandeur in the 4th end. So, okay, so we got a corner guard. Jeff says, I desperately want 2. Thank you very much. Ramin's going to throw a centerline guard because they're thinking we will happily steal a red. Thank you very much. And then I guess the deciding factor is what does Jeff do on his next one? The purist in me says, well, you'd curl around your corner guard and try to secure your 1 point before you start working on your other point. The tour player in me would say, well, you would draw around and lock one onto the shot rock and then worry about rolling behind cover by the third's first stone. So let's see what Jeff decides to do. This one's going to go a little deep. Splits them, which is not a bad result. This is going to give, if I was Jeff, I'd hit and roll or guard, draw, yes. I think, I think statistically, but the draw's got to be the smarter shot here. You get something just inside the 12-foot in the back. Hal's thinking maybe it's a little spicy there. You can see his fingers going, or something's not quite right. Sweeper's going after it. Woody hasn't looked up yet. You know, Ben, I may be in Tahoe. Right now, I'm not, but I might get a bug and just whip up there. But I used to live in Winnipeg and Calgary and Vancouver, so I've got my fill of slams. But I do like what Nick and the guys are doing. Trying to make curling a little bit more progressive. It can't be just a bunch of 75-year-olds drinking Tim Hortons watching curling. So I like what they're doing. So I'd like to go support Nick in the curling group for sure. little bit of a push there. Looks like it's potentially needed the way they're going after it. Again, center line, leave it right on probably zone 2, zone 3. All right, Anto, go get him. Thanks for tuning in. Little deep. The triple's there, but at this point, hit and roll behind cover, or at this point, maybe just split, split that yellow onto the rings. You'll get it behind cover. You'll get something usable in the 12-foot. Lots of options if you're Kunkel right now. Yeah, I totally agree, Ben. I think it's huge. Obviously, Jared's a big fan of Tahoe, and for the first Grand Slam across the border, I was hoping to try to get one here in Phoenix and play at the Mullet Arena, where we've got D1 hockey. It's a nice 6,000, 7,000 seat arena. I'd like to get one down here too. I don't know if Tahoe's going to be the best draw for them, but certainly I think for the players, it's kind of like the what they do at the Banff Slam, having it in kind of a resort area is not the worst thing. Plus you got the gambling, which is a fun little aspect to it. So I'm sure Nick and the team's got their reasons for it, but I'm sure it'll be successful. You're going to get all of those probably Western, maybe BC, Alberta, Canadians coming down. Maybe not because of the politics, but certainly all the Mopac curlers should be in attendance. Yeah, best way to keep your opponent from scoring any points is to get their rocks out of the house. Pretty aggressive. You may want to come around that guard now. Yeah, I think unfortunately Jeff's getting sucked into kind of playing Utah's game here. You have a pretty good situation with those yellow corners that he's not quite using yet. Thanks, Ben. Yeah. Let Nicky reach out to me, and we'll make it happen. I've even talked to Kmart about doing a kind of a pro-am, do like a get a couple of the old curlers with a bunch of new curlers, and kind of have a bit of a pro-am out here as well, like the what do you call that when you're? Gosh. Yeah, no, sorry, Ben. I was sort of thinking like the kind of the old timer hockey that they have, outside. Legends game, kind of, where you got like, let's say, Madaw and Furby and Stoughton, all the big names, Eddie, and get them to play, a little forehand, something or other for the old timies, and then you get a little pro-am, a little exhibition game. I think that'd be kind of a fun little thing to kind of do. But okay, yeah, totally agree, Trevor. Yeah. Yeah. not bad. Woody's shot's not bad. It leaves maybe a catcher at the back of the rings, but it does just allow. If you're Kunkel, you're thinking, gosh, we haven't really got our deuce anywhere close to being set up, and by now you'd want to have it. You're working on your third point, so nice hit and roll here. You don't want to roll out because you will give the opportunity for Kunkel to maybe draw behind cover. Oof. Yeah. Curl on over. Well, good result. Good result. Maybe a little spicy, but it works. Again, this is Woody's last rock. Why not draw around those corners and then worry about running these red back? But again, I'm not out there, so yeah, I totally agree, Trevor. Totally agree. Because that's a really good setup you've got there. Or even, yeah, it's maybe a little too far away to split on like I originally thought, but certainly going around cover, forcing Utah to maybe use a couple rocks to blow some stuff out. You're going to have to curl this, boys. You have to curl it. Here it comes. Just slides through, and I'm not sure if that was the intent, because it's not bad to just throw back 8, back 4 weight and just tap those red back to create a bit of a kind of a catching situation or a wall of reds at the back. But with this out, if you're Kunkel, you're probably freeze at the back red, or like we've all said, draw around those yellows. Yeah, agreed. Matt Merkel for the win. Oh, you may get a catcher. You may get a jam right here. Ooh. But it rolls behind cover. Huh. Well, that's dirty. Like if you're Utah, you're like, okay, we'll see your jam and we'll take a roll behind cover. It is visible, the little back line. Yeah, I agree, Trevor. Yeah, it's hits are fun, and again, if you've watched the stream a couple times already, Joe Polo's Olympic men's Olympic curler is best quote I've ever heard him say is the you hit for show and you draw for dough. So meaning there's certainly a time and place, but drawing gives you a lot more possibilities, and that's usually you're playing angles and soft weight taps and things like that. Usually good things happen, but hitting is just so transactional. But here we go. Big shot from the skipper. Out turn. Looks like he got a little handsy with that. I would think this is going to over curl. Yeah. But can Matt O'Brien keep it out there? That's an unfortunate. Again, here I'd be doing your in-turn hit and roll to the left. You can throw the out turn, but if you nose it, you're leaving a double, and Kunkel's going to get potentially his 2. But if you throw the in-turn, hit it on the high side, so left of center, roll behind cover, the best Kunkel can do is take his 1, but again, lots can happen. Nice throw. Holding it for line. I think he can ease up a little bit. You don't want to nose this when you want to nut it. Yeah, I think they're maybe a little aggressive on the line call, but. Well, what do you think, team? Does he try the outturn double and try to hold it back 8, back 12 for his deuce? Or let's take his 1. Yeah, I think so too, Ben. I think so too. Yeah, it doesn't have to be. Doesn't have to hit it super hard. Just has to get the angles right. But I think he's just going. Well, he's just going for the 1 here. Again, you don't want to float this out, or you're giving up deuce, and it's maybe you're throwing him back. If not, maybe handshakes. But let's see here. Big shot from Kunk and Co. He dumped that in. Brian's on it for the sweep. It's down weight. You don't want to go through that port. If I'm the coach, I'm not sure I'm scoring that a hard 4. I'm probably giving him a 3.5 with a huge exclamation point and a star and a note saying we're going to talk about this. But they got their 1. Yeah. Hey Polo, good to see you again. Thanks for joining us. See if I can tell you what's happening around the rings here. Yeah, Kuhn and Friends, Denver against Sierra Sweepers, kind of the hybrid team. It's 2-1, still in the 4th. Team D still 5-0. They haven't hung a score yet, and the Ancient Orders haven't finished their end yet. So still 8-2. So nothing's really changed over there. Now, if you're Utah, if you're the complete sheet show, they don't like throwing guards, but do you go hard for your deuce now? Go up 6-2. No. Yeah, there we go. Good. Yeah, and kind of keep the hammer down. There's a lot of teams at this point, would consider changing their strategy a lot and end up losing the game because they think they're. It's the old take the foot off the gas thing. But yeah, agreed. Yeah, Trevor, you're absolutely right. It's well, this one looks a little fast, doesn't it? It's trying to slow down. Not all bad. Not all bad. Throwing it through is not going to look good on your stat sheet, but it's not bad. Now, if you're Kunko, you probably want to come around. Conventional wisdom would tell you to put stack the guard, but I think, because that guard is in the number 2 spot, it's not a lot of people know how to throw a 1 guard or a tight 3. That's why you always want to throw your 3 first and then your 1. Just a little bit easier for the thrower. But So it might sneak in. Well, or you do that and you make me look like a liar. So good on you. Nice shot there, Hal. Going to talk to you after this game. Yeah. All right, redemption rock here for Utah. We want this probably 10 feet lighter. There we go. Yeah. When in doubt, throw the other handle. Unfortunately, 2 misses. That's not quite a deal breaker yet. But depending on what Jeff does with this next one, I suspect Ramin will be looking to clear anything yellow from the front of the house. Yeah, speaking about Grand Slam of curling and the mental game, talking to Jared Allen one time he was here. He obviously used to own a restaurant here in town, but curled at the wrench a few times. Talked to him. I go, Jared, what's the one thing that really kind of surprised you about curling? And he's obviously a huge fan of it still. He says, well, in football, there's 40 guys on the sideline. And if you don't like somebody, you can. If you're at an away game, you could stand at the 44th spot on line and never talk to the guy who's pissing you off. But in curling, he says he was really amazed with the kind of the mental side of it, the sports psychology, because there's only 4 players, and if you go back to the hotel room or the Airbnb and somebody's having a bad game or just being a little prickly, you have no choice but to deal with it. Almost, but that was a good use of St. James upweight love of the shot. So again, maybe just a hair much. That was probably normal. Probably could have used just control up would have been fine, but. A lot of young curlers just like throwing the high hard ones because it's sexy. Here we go, looking O'Brien to kind of clog up the center line, get control of that 4-foot. Typically the top 12 band and sort of that first 1.5 feet out of the house. That's called the control zone. Typically, whichever teams controls that, like that's in the control zone. If you can control that, you really kind of control access to the house and give yourself a lot of things to do. Here's a juicy double. I don't know if you guys have seen it on the stream, but we have a gold balloon, the number 2 that's floating around. That's our double balloon. Like while we're playing a very serious event here, we still want to recognize good shots. If you get a double on purpose. Well, even not on purpose, I suppose. You can go grab that number 2 balloon, and if you still have that at the end of the draw, you're going to get a round of drinks for your team at the Broken Broom Lounge. So whoever says we don't take care of our curlers, just over curl just a little bit. If you're Jeff, you're going to want to loop one around now. Go top 4. Yes, put the broom down there. Yes. Don't come around. Nope. Don't like that. Yeah, so if you're Jeff right now, you need to be sort of thinking all-in steel. If you wanted to promote that red-yellow, you could. But yeah, just getting around, because right now that red-yellow combination at the center line is helping Orange Coyote. Big shot from Woody. Woody's fairly well known for his draw weight, so I think the odd maker in Vegas would say he's going to make this. Looks like it's hanging out there, though. I don't know if they found a ridge, because now it's coming over, but it's still going to hang out. I think maybe they took just a little bit too much ice. The weight's not horrible. Blow up, yeah. I mean, let's take that. Matt Merkel, you're absolutely right. The Broken Broom Lounge does have the best drinks in town. And we've got actually a few good special drinks that have been concocted. I think there's a kryptonite shooter, and there's some other stuff that maybe might give anybody's liver a bit of a run for their money. But yeah, and there was some of the high performance athletes were here till about 1:30 last night. So whatever was in that kryptonite juice kept them around. But obviously the tagline at the Broken Broom Lounge is that there's never been a bad shot. Yeah, and I would agree with that. So yeah, Matt, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. Okay, well, Redemption Rock for Woody Woo. Bring it in a foot and a half. See if we can loop one around. Well, this looks close. Matt O'Brien's swooping it a little bit for line. Always just going to snap once that weight comes off. Yeah, looks like they just wait a little bit too long for that. Now, if you're Utah, you need to get one in the 4-foot now, because you've sort of squandered some. You got 2 yellow counters. You don't have anything going, so I think looping one around at this point, or running that yellow centerline guard back, killing the top and trying to open that up might be okay. Then it still gives you access to your red tap. But it's probably just a touch more complicated than it needs to be right now if you're Utah. So while Ramin confers here and thinks about all the options, let's go around the rings. Kuhn and Friends, 4-2 over Sierra Sweepers on A. Again, that's the D final. They're in the 5th end. Team D from Potomac. Again, they check your car keys, see if you got your wallet on your pocket. They stole yet again. I want to see maybe if they were in the Louvre last week. It's 8-0. So that's probably close to handshakes. And they're playing in the 5th as well. And that's the for the B event winners. And then on D, our Ancient and Honorable Order of Curling Turtles from Rocket City Curling Club in Huntsville, Alabama. They are 9-2, and they are also in the 5th end. So I suspect we're getting close to shakes there, and that's for the C final. So, in fact, we have an update. Team D from Potomac did actually end up shaking. They are our B final event winners. Congratulations to those folks for coming out here and playing a great game and taking a little bit of hardware home with them. Good on them. This one, unfortunately, over curls just a little bit. So, right idea. Just needs a little bit more ice. But of course, if you're Kunkel, you're thinking, finally, some opportunity kind of rolling our way here. So you're going to see them try to pull one again, top 4. They're taking 6 inches more ice. Yeah, he probably could have, Trevor. Yeah, yeah. I sure do love that Family Guy. Is it Harvest Moon where Stewie's Darth Vader? He's like, "Is there anything I need to know about the Death Star that would maybe potentially be a problem?" He's like, "Well, yeah, there's a hole, I guess, in one side, but it's no bigger than a womp rat. So, like, what are the odds, right?" That's fine. So, good shot, nicely managed rock. Does it get away all the way around? It does not, but it does force. Yeah, Hurst here, and even David could be at the back. Oof! Look at all of that ice they're taking. Well, let's see what's happening here, because we know when Woody took that much ice, it left it maybe the 8-foot touching the 4. But Hurst needs to get back to that back yellow right now. That would be a good, obviously, T-line, top 4, I get it, but even if he gets to the back yellow, he'd be in good shape. We haven't been out here a whole lot, so you might want to do a heavy clean. Kind of just lean on it like Oscar. You got to go. You can't leave it, guys. You got to go. You cannot hurt this rock at all. Don't even stop. Don't even look up. Keep going. Keep going. Whoa now. Whoa now. Yeah, well, they had the right idea. I think they probably just need just the outside sweeper to get that to curl over a bit. But it does negate the 2 in the top 12, so that's good. And again, if you're Kunkel, you'd want to hit that and keep the pressure on them, or draw up to it. Yeah, that's a good result for Hurst. Looks like they're going to try to put it top 4, top 8, yeah. Because again, if you can steal, steal's a really good option here if you're Kunkel. yeah, Trevor, you know how it is. If you're not playing and you got to catch an plane in an hour and a half, and our club's literally 6 minutes from the Phoenix Sky Harbor. You might as well sit here and drink for $6 versus $15. This one's coming up a little bit light, which is not the worst thing in the world. But I think Ooh. Well, what do you do, team? If you're Ramin, do you nose hit that and try to get the double and maybe take your deuce? Or do you take 4 more inches of ice, throw the exact same shot David just threw, and try to draw the T-line? Yeah, that's what they're doing. All you gotta do, famous last words, right? All you gotta do is, and then fill in the blank when it comes to curling. But literally anything on that tee line, 8 foot or better. Whew, big shot coming up. Drawing against 2. 6. 2's, yeah, 2's, and if you're Utah, I know we got kind of a pro Utah watch party here. If you give up 2 here and you blank the 7 and you take the hammer home an 8, that's okay. Let's see Hurst. Let's see if Hurst can just back break yellow here. Sweepers are on it quick. It's not a good sign. We've never been out this far before. Let's see if Hurst has made the right adjustment. All hands on deck. Can they drag it? Can they drag it? Can they drag it? Never a doubt. Never a doubt. Come on. You guys at home, you paid for all of your seat, but you're only going to need the front half because the curling is so exciting. Way to go, Jerry and Gerard, for sweeping that. They might have to take a little bit of an oxygen break or whatever, but that's good on them. Yeah, if they were doing that in Denver, they'd both be passed out right now. Good on them. Good shot. That's exciting. Yeah. Huh. Well, that might be the TSN turning point. That might be the one shot that saves the day. And speaking of rock logic and all that stuff, they've scientifically proven that a skip really only has to throw 2 key shots in a game for a team to be successful, which is great. Because as a skip, I'm thankful for I can whistle the first 6 through, and I just have to worry about and even still it's a 50-50 shot, but you only have to make 2 key ones, and I think as far as Hearst goes, that might be one of those key shots that had to be made for the team. So good job. I suspect if you're Utah, you don't want to get yourself into that kind of messy situation again. So probably looking for something top 12 in the house. Yeah, just nibbling. Kunkel's like, you're not going to fool me with that. Let's do a corner guard because he needs 2 here. Yeah, I agree, Ryan. Yeah, the Orange Coyote has been really good at forcing. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and Team Gilbert's got a little bit of a boost, no doubt. Yeah, and the curling highs and lows, you got to take them when you can get them. Now, interesting, he's coming around this side here. We haven't thrown many outturns. I don't think really any. Well, maybe 1 or 2 early on, but this is going to be some fresh ice out here. Pebble's going to be pretty good. Probably want to give it another 1/10 of a second and some good rotation. I want to try to get around that red rock. Yeah. Nice sweeping. Doesn't hurt. Jeff's looking for the hit and roll. I appreciate the fact he's trying to use his guard. And again, you want to do the in turn, because if you do the out turn, you're going to spring out and be undercover. So you want to go the in turn, Jeff. Well, if he's throwing backline weight and hits it low, so left side of center, is it too much? Here it comes. Might work out. There's easier ways to do this, but this might work out. No. And unfortunately, it leaves that red rock at the back of the house, so the force is on. And of course, here looking to get that red rock to hit and roll to Ramin's left, or our right as we're looking at it. Nice board weight should do it, and we know it runs pretty straight down the center. It seems like good enough ice. Just the right idea. Just need another 2 feet. Okay. Let's try this again. Ramin is thinking. Hit and roll. Again, you know, Ramin's got that red counter at the back. Uh-oh. There you go. Worried it was tracking toward that back. That's a nice shot. If you're Jeff, you're going to want to kill those 2 reds out front. Leave your yellow sitting there so you can use it. Ooh. Gutsy. Coming around with the two reds in the control zone. That's, I'm sure his coach will have something to say about that. Good time for Woody Woo to come in here and say, well, Skipper, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? Yeah, this is good, good intervention. Thanks, Kendra, for jumping in and watch the stream. But I guess I should have told you guys at the start of the stream, if you type "Let's go Team Gilbert" or Gilbert, you got to Venmo me $5 per Pro Team Gilbert post. So since I didn't say that at the start, we'll let this one fly, and we'll join you, Kendra, in your cheering for Team Utah. They're playing quite well. The last end got a little hairy, but now we're getting down to it. This is kind of the brass tacks. This is where, you know, the game can swing one way or the other pretty quick at this point. Yeah, not a. Can't say I'm not in love with this shot, because if he's a little wide or a little heavy, raises that red in. Woody's saying he is a little bit firm. Ooh, yeah, Hal, I wouldn't even touch it. I wouldn't even touch that, Hal. Yeah. Yeah, and perfectly behind cover. Now, no, leave that rock there. Now guard it. Put something just corner freeze on that yellow rock on the center line side, and you will have Orange Coyote in a bit of a chokehold. Leave that yellow there and just corner freeze so they can't run it back, because that is helping you right now. Please, please, please. What do you think, online fam? Do you support taking that yellow out, or do you support drawing around, which isn't maybe necessary, or the guard? What do you think? Type in the chat either draw, hit, or guard. Let's do an informal poll here and see if between the 49 of us we can get a consensus. Like tapping the top right red. Don't touch the yellow. Ooh, yeah, That's a gutsy call, Trevor. For sure, you could do that, but you'd have to be really close to nose, or else you leave an open draw. I think the guard here, I think, is this kind of the smarter. Because if you're Utah, you don't need to be super aggressive right now. You've got shot 1 and 2. I think that's perfect. Yeah, because now if you're Jeff, what do? You got to try to either raise that yellow in, which is a low percentage shot. Try to draw through that port, which again isn't great. And if you're Ramin and Trevor, to your point, you leave that red tap on that right for your last one, and maybe take 3. So. Yeah. Up 2, sitting 3, yep. Pressure on Orange Coyote. This looks good. Don't know if it's going to get through. That's unfortunate. All right, looks like Kuhn and Friends has ended on sheet A. They are our D final winners, and they take the game 9-2. So Denver's walking home with some hardware. So congratulations to Kuhn and Friends from Denver. Okay, I would guard this up again, or since. Ryan and Trevor, you guys like to be a little, Trevor being conservative now. I wouldn't think you would say that, buddy. Yeah, I would, you could go for the draw, I suppose, but I think right now, guarding that up, because then all you leave Orange Coyote is the yellow, which isn't automatic. So you can either try the draw, and if it ends up light, great, or if you try the guard, and if it goes heavy, then great, that's fine too. But yeah, you got to plug that hole for sure. Yeah. Again, they're taking a lot of ice, so nice throw. Maybe sweep it for line here. It'd be nice to kind of keep that out. Yeah, small little bounce. Yeah, I think that'll work, but I think if we kept that out a little bit, and just sort of blocked off that port, just 2 more inches would have really made it, because now I think Jeff has a way to through there. It's not easy. It's maybe the size of a womp rat. Yeah, agreed, Jeff. Yeah, agreed. That's heavy and out. They should be playing the bump now. Okay, now. Guard up that yellow. Yeah, exactly right. And you just leave that red sitting outside of the house on the right side. You leave that for your tap up, or even your split. Yeah, you leave that to your very last one, but it's a good call. You can even corner freeze to that left side yellow. Oof. Things are heating up on C. Yeah. Nice rock. Gotta make sure they don't I'd be carving this like crazy right now, or going all the way around. If you go on the other side of that yellow, that'll work as well. You might as well go now. Play the audible. Hurst with the other nice draw. I think they're sitting 3. Jeff's got the raise. You gotta play the raise. That's all you got. Play the tap. Yeah, a good steal situation here for Utah. Yeah, for sure, Trev. Yeah, there's some opportunities. It's in a perfect world, I don't know if you want to be throwing a back 8 tap up to try to get your 1, but certainly there's if he makes 2 good shots here, you can walk away with 1 or 2 for sure. That seemed a little tight. Might be racking off. Yeah, it's on the guards. Yep, it's light and tight. Bad combination for curling. A little bit of pressure. Well. We haven't been out this wide at all, so a heavy clean would be recommended. They're not cleaning at all. Looks like this is coming down. Nice shot. Clutch shot. Again, that's stolen one more, so it's what, 6-2. I'll throw them back, and now it's just a thing of math, right? Try to run them out of rocks. Yeah, Remember, the winner of this event wins a berth in the U5 Nationals that is going to be played in 2026. So, in or through. Yeah, I agree with you, Trevor. It's down 4. Anything can happen, but it's looking pretty good for Utah right now and for a complete sheet show. Yeah, so we've got probably Rocket City is going to be our winner for the C finals. They're up 9-5. Ton of rocks in play. Looks like Curling Turtles are sitting shot on D, so I suspect they're going to finalize this with a 10-5. So all it is here is just watching for the fastest shots here in Utah's history. Boom. There we go. Pad the stats a little bit. Give yourself 2 4s on that. Very good. Yeah, since that's so far over, you might as well split them. Yeah, you might as well split the corners. It's got to get to the house. It doesn't look like it's going to get there, though. Just over. Good. Whistle one through. Very good. All right. Big shot from Matt here. He's got to hide one. Yeah, let's see here. Yeah, it looks like on the program that the organizers have made, the Orange Coyote team has 18 combined years of curling experience, and the complete sheet show has 20 years combined curling experience. Yeah, it's certainly showing in today's game and across this weekend. Again, you know, the both rinks are coming in at undefeated. Unless something changes, looks like our complete sheet show will be going 7-0 in this event. So, way to go. Okay. Nice shot. It's Operation Yellow. It's a All right, this is sort of the last freebie shot you get, because the next 4 have to count. And then, of course, if it's if a team is mathematically eliminated, there should be handshakes, so they can have a chance to either catch a flight or enjoy a beverage. As 2 nice shot by Matt. And if you're Ramin, or if you're the entire Utah sheet, you have to be watching your heart rate, your breathing. Make sure you don't get, because it's easy right now to feel a little amped up. No, you're only 4 rocks away from getting your berth, so you gotta manage all of that. You might get that back one if you miss this, though. I'd say that's a good miss. Yeah, you gotta hide one. Yeah, that's exactly right. All right, so now we're in the mathematical side of things, folks. If this does not get hidden, and the Oval Curling Club hits it out, should be handshakes, because then the Kunkel has no way of scoring 4 points. And the yellows up front aren't even close, so you could split them on. So nicely done. You may even want to take a out-turn run at this, but he's saying, okay, let's clear the guard, which is perfectly good. And it does look like D is over with the Rocket City rink, the Honorable and Order of Curling Turtles, winning over Delusions of Grandeur. So congratulations to Rocket City out of Huntsville, Alabama, for taking some hardware home with them. Nice shot by Utah. Yeah. You could have potentially, if you're Jeff, used that last corner guard to hide. You can hear hand claps. It's such a great tradition when the competitors come off the ice and the warm room claps for them. It's a great tradition. You know, they always say the most important part of curling happens on the warm side of the glass, and I think it's absolutely true. If this is not in, or cannot be, there you go. Well, if this is the final shot, this is, again, David Hurst, Ramin Gilbert, Jerry St. James, and Gerard Trimberger, curling out of the Oval Curling Club, throwing one more shot to get their berth into the U5 Nationals and being the top rink at the 2025 Bonspiel. And that, folks, is the ball game. Congratulations to the Oval Curling Club. We should see the handshakes. Yes, absolutely. Great game by both sheets. Obviously, the latter ends really got complicated, and both teams did quite well, but it certainly Oval going undefeated in this event. Fantastic job by all of the curlers. I'd like to thank the organizer, Tracy Drummond, Joe Rice, for organizing this, the ice crew, Sean Tate, and Brian Onken, and everybody who's helped out. Jeff Baird, Mike Siggins, thank you very much. On behalf of the Coyotes Curling Club, this is Daryl Horseman signing off from the 2025 U5 Superhero Bonspiel, where the shots have been nothing less than spectacular and super. See you out there. Good curling. Be safe, everyone. See you soon.